So I contemplated if I should go live on this topic because it's personal, it's revealing, and on ultimately good. The issue that I was like, I don't know, is because it's TikTok live stream. It's any and everybody. It's not like it's people who have history with me, who are working with me, who have paid money, where there's been a sort of self-selecting and vetting process. And I was like, to help other people, it's like when you just know things that other people don't know, it's a responsible thing to withhold things from them until they've demonstrated that they actually can handle what you would disseminate. And so that was going through my mind. And then I thought about the fact that, well, ultimately, even if a person never does get free, there's a deep aspect of them that wants to be free. Even if a person resists and fights steadfastly to not be free, they want to be free. And I understand why. I just, on so many levels, I understand why people fear being free, which basically what losing control is in the context that I'm sharing it today. We like how it sounds, freedom. Freedom sounds like, yes, I want to be free. I want to be financially free. I want to be location independent. I want to be free. I want to be free to travel when I want to travel, with who I want to travel for, as long as I want to travel. Let me tell you, if Black women were free, Black men would be free. And this planet would look entirely different. Because truly free people can't help but free other people. This topic of losing control. So when I say freedom, I mean a woman who is not at all hinged to needing to look a certain way, control anything, look good, maintain an image or an identity. Any of the tension that we chronically walk around with, gripping for, the hunt for dopamine hits, the gripping for the appearance of safety and all that. And the greatest realm to free oneself is the sexual realm. It's the greatest realm to free oneself, which is why there's so much shame wrapped up in sexuality, which is why men spend their entire lives policing women around their bodies and sex. And this shit is old. This is way before your great, 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 great grandmama was born. This is old, folks. Okay. And so I'm on the freedom path, the real kind. And it is terrifying, straight up and down. It's terrifying. And it's the pain that feels so good is what it is. It's what we all know, whether we actually embark on the freedom path or not. It's what we all know. And so I cannot talk entirely about this. I cannot talk entirely about this. So I'm going to mute out some points. And yeah. I have an impossible desire. A real desire. A real one. Not just, I have a desire to buy a house. I mean the desires that they stream from that pristine place. And as I talked about yesterday, we get something that's clear with instructions. It's just, and and it's impossible. It feels like I'm going to be, how am I going to look if I do that? Can I do that? Yeah, all that, right? You bring it into the conscious mind and start killing it. My pristine desire is for true love to stream clean between melanin dominant men and women. Doesn't that sound impossible? Particularly in today's climate. Doesn't that sound ridiculous? In all the ways, right? Exactly. That's how actual desire shows up. It's you wanting to do something that to the everyday world, it's like, girl, don't nobody want that. Ain't nobody, girl, that's stupid. That who gonna, or something that it triggers shame, or it like real desire is typically in that domain. Okay. So that's mine. And in order for you, me, to actually be the adequate vessel for our genuine desire, things that are, like I said, trigger shame, if I actually become the person who's the vessel to bring this thing forward, my whole life is going to crumble. Like this life that I'm living now is going to fall apart, and my new ways of being will construct a new life. And the thought of the dissolution of the life you're currently in and coming into another world is terrifying to the identity that you currently hold, to everything. The way you make money now, who you're married to now, the way you live now, your current comfort zone. And so this is why, most of us don't embark, and I'm really grateful to be where I am, because I'm pretty confident that a huge part of why I'm able to say yes to desire now is because of a few things. One that I'll say is I started saying yes young. I started saying yes to the raw truth when I was young. And I made one really hard decision, like, to really live on this path of power and freedom, you make very hard decisions, very hard. It destroys you. And when I say it destroys you, I mean it destroys the ego mind that is ruthlessly supporting you and staying in the comfort zone. The ego mind ruthlessly, it will tell you anything and everything. And it's you, an aspect of you talking to yourself. And it's so convincing, and oh my God. And so to war with that thing is exhausting, and you got to win. Otherwise, every single time life presents you with the freedom opportunity, you will strengthen the muscle of the ego to keep you there. And then once you do the work of keeping yourself in something that you know is not the real thing, is not real freedom, you have to build something on top of it to support you being somewhere at your deepest self you don't really want. And this is how people become these strong personalities that constantly are trying to reinforce the way things should be. It's because that is the identity that they put on top of the real them to reinforce the place that they didn't want to be, but they didn't have the courage and the strength over the ego mind to make the truly liberating decision. So I credit my ability to even be here on camera with you right now. I credit my ability to be able to run the Academy for Womanhood. I credit, among many things, and the one thing that I'm willing to share out loud is I started making hard decisions in my 20s. So I'm grateful. So I do that. You need to start doing that now, making hard decisions. So that could mean, right? That could mean so many things that hurt. So to become this woman who can just carry it, it's less about even the goal of true love and seeing that, I just so, I can see it. I can see it. The love, this true, and it's, yeah, I can see it. And the for me, it's being available to even facilitate that truly. And I can see when I visualize the result and me in it, I can see the me, what's not alive in me that requires to be alive, to be active in the vision. And at the end of the day, and I know this is going to be true for all of you who are somewhere in this vicinity or have been, it is such a soft place. It is so unlike the mainstream archetype of what a Black woman is. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we can wear that, but so much of it is a wide open softness. There's no fighting. There's no, just like all the things we do to keep control, because what if, because niggas is, and because I don't, just like all the things we do to generate a sense of safety for ourselves, and it's none of that. And so there's mm, I had a moment today where I very much felt like I could lose control, and I want to lose control. I know it's very much required for me to not hook into anything that would keep me in a comfort zone. And it's the land of true. So when I'm talking about freedom, this is what I'm talking about. Where I don't need to grab onto anything, nothing, not a thought, not a person, not an emotion, not a way of being, not a comfort zone, not an item, nothing. I don't need to grab at anything because I can live in this elevated place. I can live here. And for me, and I know this is the case for so many women, it's just keeping ourselves tight everywhere we go, keeping ourselves tight. And I know a chief way to dissolve that and to learn to be in the spaciousness of flight is sex. The womb, the vagina, the yeah, that chief domain. And I want it. It's necessary. So that's where I am. So I'm sharing this so that it could potentially be useful for you. I'm sharing it for me because I'm in this place, making myself, doing what it clearly shows itself, what needs to be done. It's all very clear. It's me being willing to do it. And this is the case for all of us. It's all so clear. It's so easy. We just don't want to do it. We're afraid of the other side of it. So, for example, some notes I have here: pure vessel, alive, plump, losing control, whole life changes, how will I look, the aftermath, these kinds of things. Wow. Here's a place I am willing to go in this conversation right now. And I imagine, I mean, we'll see ultimately over time, but I imagine, here's the question. Here's the question that I've been with. I think it started last night or early this morning. And this is not the best question, but we'll start here. What does it really take? Yeah, I don't like that. Deeper. I'll say it and then we'll let it land and go. What does it really take? I actually wrote some version of the question down. I think it's in a draft. Something like the needs of coded melanin dominant men and the needs of coded melanin dominant women. And what does it really take to have those needs met? Deep needs. And when I say needs, please, Jesus Christ. I'm not talking about food and housing. I'm not talking about food and housing, people, okay? So I was thinking about the fragility of it all. It's all very fragile. In order for, I can see this, and I imagine you all can see this too when you quiet yourself, and get down in there. It's a very fragile place where whole trust would be required. And for me, it's even less about trust. There's an aspect of it, but it's more like a leaning into that stream. It's here. It's always here. It's like, and I guess for the human monkey mind, it needs to engage in a lifestyle practice that helps it find safety in the stream, the erotic stream of consciousness that is just all the time, that is here. It's the constitution of everything, okay? And so there's such a, the stream itself, it's not just fragile, it's the underdeveloped human, the lack of experience with dealing in subtlety, right? Lack of experience with having just sensation in the body, lots of sensation, different, and then having sensation coupled with unresolved shame and coupled with just unknown things that are unfamiliar, and how a person could immediately kick that up and call it fear and then shoot it out to another person and break any possibility for connection. Like, that's underdeveloped. That's an unrefined being. That's a person who lacks experience, skill. And in order to do this, a person needs an actual relationship to practice this kind of stuff. Okay, you need somewhere to practice this. And so when I think about like what it really takes for coded melanin dominant men and women to be in this place, first they both have to want it. And immediately I started thinking about what it's like to be a melanin dominant man, because obviously I already know what it's like to be a woman, right? And I recognize how much of the power is in our hands and how much a lot of this is only going to happen with us in power because of the fragility. This is where the word is rightly placed, the fragility of the male ego, the saturation of the male mind, with just archaic thinking, patriarchal thinking that imprisons them too. Like, there's the benefit that they get of, as I've talked about, but then no one talks about the dark side of patriarchy for men. So the dark side of patriarchy for men, it handicaps them. It sets them up for needing to attach themselves to one woman. It sets them up for dehumanizing them. It sets them up for, it's like a primer for the catch-all word is dehumanizing, because there's so many different ways to talk about the ways it dehumanizes the man and strips them of their wholeness. But men don't see that because, I'm telling you, you just meet a man's base needs and he will fight like hell to not become whole, So So I was like, because again, this is the realm of impossible. So I'm like, gosh, the conscious mind, is this even possible? It was given to me, so obviously it is. Is it possible in my lifetime? Like, is my lifetime? So there's potential that what I want to see will occur. I just won't be alive to see it. That's cool with me. Because regardless of the times, whether we were in 1950 or in 2050, regardless of the times, regardless of the troubles of the day, whether we're talking about a recession or the civil rights movement or whatever will be the problem of the times 5 years from now, hell, next year, whatever will be the problems of the time, whatever is ruminating in the human mind, the truth prevails. It just is, regardless of what you slap on top of it. And the truth is, this coded melanin dominant, like what's in me, coded melanin dominant women, coded melanin dominant men. What you go? What you gonna say? No, you can't do that. No, because no, you can't. No, because the Bible said, because no, because you're married. No, because, boy, I'm telling you, what a way to create a demon. You're talking about how demons are created. So losing control. When something happened with a man today where there was a look in the eyes and I looked away, because I'm just in this very space where I could lose it at any moment. And it's like I need the environment to actually do that. And when I was sitting in, like, I do a lot of reverse engineering, and it was like, just all kind of changes, all kinds of changes, and willing. I know it's difficult, and I want to see love streaming. I want to see I want to feel, I want to sit in it. And again, if I never sit in it, because it's already with me. So in essence, it's already here. And I want to see it on, like, physically. I want to sit in the reality. And if I never do, so be it. However, and this is not me being fantastical either. It's like that fleeting moment. And I think a lot of people only, like I said, because we need the environment to do it, a lot of people only allow themselves to even begin to kind of maybe sort of kind of wail, maybe lean a little bit into the love department when they're with a romantic partner, right? Where it's like socially safe. So a lot of the mental barriers drop down. Yeah. And we have those euphoric moments with the partner, right? Even if we've been with somebody for a while, it's like I love them more now than I did 20 years ago, kind of thing, right? But the electricity is out of it. It's a deep comfort zone, and it's like a deep safety. And you've you know, that thing that releases in men when they like go through hardship with a person, or they go to war with other men and they bond with men, or they go through a hardship with their girlfriend or their wife and it bonds them to her even more. What is that hormone called, right? So it's like it's really all of that that's going on, that bonds them, right? But that has nothing to do with electricity. And the freedom that we're looking for that keeps us in the actual fulfillment is electricity, not bonding. And so it's fine, right? Like so many people are very much fine with bonding. Um, and I think in relating to the question of what do getting our deep needs met, and the deep need, and I know this is arguable because like the only thing we need is food and housing. Right? So uh maybe uh, mm, so it's a crave. How about that? It's a deep craving. It's a chronic craving that lives underneath, right? This is why a man could be, or a woman could be bonded, could be with somebody, and they still want, because they're looking for the electricity fulfillment somewhere. And so so maybe it's not a need, right? Yeah, it's not a need in the whole I need food and oxygen kind of need. uh, but if you want freedom, that's the bottom line of it all. If you want freedom, yeah, electricity is where it's at because it keeps you in the realm of freedom. So I was thinking about, I don't know if I've ever met a black man who truly wanted to be free. Have you? Have you ever met a black man that truly wanted to be free? Truly, not like gets on the internet and talks about freedom, but he's everything about his life is not free, you know? Everything about his personality, his character, is not free. I mean, people who are truly free, like they're not trying to attach themselves and, you know, use manipulation tactics to get you to bond with them. And, you know, the same thing, like for women, I saw a video. Anybody here ever met a black man who was truly free, wanted to be free, engaged in the work to be free, that kind of a thing? I mean, I see women left and right. And that's why the question of what is it like, and this is why the world would look different with us really being free. The world would look different. Like our marriages would be like predestined marriages. They wouldn't be like the marriage that the system has created the way it currently is. Our marriages wouldn't look like that. They would be the kind of marriages where you belong, where we just belong to each other in a way where we're together no matter where we are, what we do. And we just know that because it's spiritually done like that, And we come together when we come together, and we part, and there's a erotic, there's an erotic bind. It's not the manipulative, because I need you kind of, scarcity based bind. And we call ourselves spiritual people, but most people don't really, they don't listen to their spiritual guidance. They don't really try. People just like to talk about it to sound something. How many of us ignore all the time? I don't. And so when I just look at truly spiritual people who truly walk it, truly live it, it's like it would totally reorient society, would activate melanin dominant coded folks in true right relationship, walking around doing their distinct thing in the world, being who they really are, taking their positions in life, especially those who are, natural rulers and leaders. And what a different, oh my God, it's like the world we would want. And there would still be shit. There would be shit. This is not a utopia I'm talking about at all. But it would be raw. It would be real. It would be like so connected. The way we love to talk about our ancestors, we're so connected, and we love to romanticize this stuff, but we don't trust the mechanics that facilitated them being connected. We love to talk about them doing it, and our ancestors did it, and we never talk about our ancestors as it relates to sex. Has anyone ever questioned that? We never question like true erotic feminine connection and power. Like we never talk about it. We talk about our ancestors with marriage, it sounds very much like the system's marriage. Y'all take good care of yourselves.